Hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. Today I've got an author conversation with a beautiful Cynthia Aldrich, and she's joining me all the way from the US. We're here to talk about her journey, her discoveries, and her experience of what it's like to be in a multi-author book, in Inspired Connections, in the Hill House Publishing container. Because my intention as the founder and CEO is very much that writing is there as a springboard, a catalyst to create person transformation for professional expansion, and in the process sharing the incredible wisdom that all of the contributors that are coming into these books have gained. So thank you for being here, Cynthia. I'll actually briefly introduce you so people know a little bit about your background. You've got an incredible life behind you, now working as a bereavement counselor, a writer. You've illustrated children's books, working as a shaman, and an artist. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me here, Crystal.
Yes, I'd love you to share a little bit about, firstly, why did you join Inspired Connections? What was it for you that said, yes, I have to write a chapter in this book?
Well, the thing of it is that since I've started writing, since my husband died, and I've embraced a new life, open to a new life, and writing is the thing because I've been writing about it since he died, and so the first thing is that I'm saying yes to every opportunity that I have to share with people. That is, it's feasible for me to do. It's realistic for me to do. And so I made that decision to say yes to everything that came along. And there have been some very interesting things that have. So that was the first thing that happened. And as the project continued on, and more people were getting involved, and it was time to start to, really get into writing. I had written some ideas down, but and actually started writing. And then I realized, you know what, I need to talk about this a little bit. So as that happened and more people got involved and we started having meetings every week in particular, it was so wonderful. I love working with other people. The connection, because being an artist and writing are solo journeys. And so I really enjoy being with like-minded people and doing the community thing. And so that's just lovely. And I just to say this now, anyone who is writing or thinking of writing or started writing, it's a beautiful, beautiful way to go to get into writing a book. If you're thinking of writing a book, to be part of a book and contribute in that way.
Yeah, I really love what you're sharing around, the community and the collaboration being so important to you, because writing and being an artist is quite an isolated, lonely experience, isn't it? So to then, what was it for you? What made that difference for you? Like to writing in your own way, in your own space, and then coming into the meetings where we shared, where everybody is at. How did that help you with the writing process?
Yes, the way that it helped is just, sometimes there were ideas that were sparked by something that someone said. Most every meeting, there was at least one thing that was sparked. And um, and the sharing, just the sharing of the richness, because everybody's life is so rich, you know, and people who write are tuned into that in particular, I think, and who have a spiritual life. And, you know, all of these people do who are writing for this book. And so the sharing of that as part of, I mean, even if nothing is said about it, it's part of who someone is and it's who they're expressing as. And from that expression, and even from the frequency, you know, vibration of their words, of what they're saying, is something that I find very enriching. It's like creating a fertile ground for planting seeds. As a longtime gardener, it's a fertile ground for planting ideas, seeds that come up into ideas that are different for each one of us, depending on what we're writing about, where our focus is. And yes,
Yeah, I really love how you're sharing that. Like, firstly, being in the energy of the book, of the other contributors, because as you said, everybody has such an incredible story. And then also creating the tapestry of the identity of the book by being in this container, and having these conversations about our inspired connections, or whatever the theme of the next book is, like Beyond Certainty, helps each one to almost like create a cohesiveness
yes,
on an energetic level, right? It's not something that's spoken about because each person is still creating their own book. But I really find that there's an energetic core of the people that are coming regularly to the meetings who are having such an enriched experience that, as you said, can inspire to something, some seed, some idea for your own writing. And people say when we hear somebody else's story, we actually hear our own story reflected back to us. We don't hear their story, we hear our own. And so doesn't surprise me then that in these meetings, you get ideas from the other people's stories. Oh yeah, that happened to me too. Maybe I can weave it into my chapter in a certain way.
yes. I've even gotten ideas for my life, you know, like an insight, you know, so it even goes beyond my book or my chapter. So it's very enriching, and I find that that's generally true in a group of people who come together for a purpose, um, who have a similar focus, um, a similar interests in the sense of creating, especially, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. It's very enriching and expansive, isn't it? Is there one last thing you'd like to share, either something that surprised you in the process, or something for somebody who's maybe sitting on the fence, like, is this for me? Is my story really worth sharing, or is this the right time? Like, you can pick any one of those, or whatever you're feeling would be valuable to share right now.
I would say, because there are people where I live that are saying, you know, I really want to write a book. And I find myself saying to them, you should write it. You should just start. And so the thing is that if you have a feeling, a calling, a pull to write about your life, to write a book, um, then and you wonder if it's worthwhile. Everyone, every one of us have a story to tell and to share that will help others. And that's why we do it. I mean, that's why we're all doing it. I mean, you can write for any purpose you want, but it's at this time in our long history, it's a beautiful time to share wisdom with other people. People need a lot of help, and your story has people that are waiting for it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You've expressed it beautifully. Our people are waiting for us to share our story so that they can put their own story into a context, so that they know that they're not alone, so that they can see and hear and feel somebody's essence who's already gone through what they're experiencing right now. So yes, it's almost like we have an obligation to share the wisdom that we have gained, so it doesn't, that it's not, we haven't of course we've experienced it for our own growth, but
Yes.
then we've also experienced it to pass it on for the growth and evolution of consciousness for those who come behind us.
Yes, indeed, exactly.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, thank you so much, Cynthia, for being here and for sharing your wisdom. And I'm just putting the link here for our book, Inspired Connections, is going live on the 17th of March. We still have a little way to go, but if you go to that link and you want to make sure that you get this book and hear the inspired stories of these contributors, then you can go on the waiting list. You'll receive some beautiful writing inspiration as well as a free gift. And if you're curious to come along on this journey in the next book, this is where you can go, crystalhill.org, Beyond. The next book is called Beyond Certainty. And I look forward to just having a conversation and seeing how I can help you to really birth your story into the world. Thank you again, Cynthia, for being here. And yeah, I cannot wait to share your incredible story with the world. Bye for now.
Bye.